ICCF Community Homes has been around for 50 years. That's a long time. A really long time. So long that we're the oldest nonprofit affordable housing developer in the state of Michigan. Born from humble roots with a belief that all people deserve safe, beautiful, affordable housing, we're now a multifaceted Christian affordable housing organization stretching across the city. Everything we do is powered by our diverse staff of over 55 team members and hundreds of volunteers who help us move neighbors from homelessness to home ownership. But how did we get here?
I have a dream that all men are created equal.
50 years ago, in the wake of the Civil Rights Movement, 79-year-old Mary Van Hout had to move out of her lifelong home and into a senior living facility. And then she had an amazing idea. She had noticed the inequality in her city, and after some prayer, decided to give her home to her church so that it could be fixed up and sold to a family in need. Praise God. The problem was the church didn't want it. Fixing up homes was not what they did. But a handful of brave families thought otherwise. You see, those families, like Mary, saw the racial injustice in their city, which presented barriers to people of color, making it difficult for them to have a place to call home. They knew it'd be a lot of work, but they stepped out in faith and said, "We will do it." It took them a full year to remodel the home. They brought together friends and families on weekends to patch holes, replace carpets, and paint, whatever was needed. They called it Project Conserve. The next year, they started work on a second home. This one really tired them out. They started to pray about how they could make this more sustainable. So they asked for advice. Some told them to give up. Others told them to start a nonprofit. Another said, "Don't start a nonprofit. There's already one called ICCF. What if you join forces?" So they said, "We will do it." And they did. We were now ICCF. All we had was a desk and a phone, but we got to work immediately. In 1979, we received our first grant from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, or HUD. In 1981, the board hired Jonathan Bradford as executive director. Although he planned on staying only 6 months, he ended up leading ICCF for 34 years. During his tenure, we navigated changes in federal policy, unjust systems, federal funding cuts, and inequity in our city. Despite our challenges, we continued to fight for housing justice in our city. But whenever challenges came, we remembered those brave families who said, "We will do it." When the government reduced HUD's budget, our city saw a dramatic increase in family homelessness. So we started Family Haven, an emergency shelter for families. We also started building homes from scratch. In fact, in 1998, we were the busiest residential builder in the city of Grand Rapids, taking out double the number of building permits as the next closest builder. We also worked hard to make sure that once our neighbors got a home, they could keep it. We expanded our home ownership education services, helping our neighbors gain financial literacy, learn about home maintenance, or how to improve their credit. We also started using individual development accounts to help neighbors reach their home ownership goals through a match savings program. Then, in 2015, we chose Ryan Verwise to serve as the next leader of ICCF. Around this time, as wages remained stagnant and home prices and rent continued to rise at a dramatic rate, many of our neighbors had a hard time finding a home in their own neighborhood. We were experiencing a housing crisis. So we continued building all sorts of housing developments to address the need. But we also started to think back to our roots, rehabbing homes. And in 2017, we took a big leap of faith and purchased over 200 homes from an out-of-state investor. Over the next few years, we plan to restore them and sell many of them to low and moderate income households. We called it the Community Homes Initiative. But we weren't satisfied yet. We wanted to find a way to keep these houses affordable for families here in West Michigan. So we founded the Community Homes Land Trust. Through that program, we've been able to make sure our homes are affordable for the next 50 years and beyond. In 2021, we moved to our new home at 415 Martin Luther King Jr. Street and announced our new name to better describe who we are and what we do, ICCF Community Homes. And that brings us to today. Across West Michigan, in any given week, you can see our neighborhoods growing stronger through the work that we do at ICCF Community Homes. We do this because we believe God has called us to seek justice in our community through equitable opportunity, affordable homes, and thriving neighborhoods. Over the past 50 years, we've served over 38,000 neighbors and provided over 1,200 units of housing. We're really grateful for that. And whenever we encounter challenges, roadblocks, or disappointments along the way, we look back at all the doers that came before us. From Mary Van Hout donating her home 50 years ago, to receiving ICCF's Articles of Incorporation, to the leadership of Jonathan Bradford and Ryan Verwise. And all the many ICCF employees and church sponsors and architects and real estate professionals and volunteers who have committed their lives to housing justice, all the way to you today. Together, let's continue to work towards housing justice in this city. And with God's help, we will do it.